Hello, I'm Timothy. I'm a producer and on the journey of creating a world-class tabletop web series. As I briefly summarized in the last video, this is a monumental task. And with these videos, I'm bringing you along as I do the thing. The current top item on the checklist is airbrushing. I have collected over the course of the last several years over 850 miniatures. All of them were unpainted, save for a few that were painted from the box. These miniatures are used in small-scale dioramas, sort of like sets, that are placed on the table to allow the other players in the tabletop game we play and film and stream and share with you all, to allow those players to know what's happening in the tactical combat portion of the game. There's an entire army of people who make painting miniatures their passion. It's really inspiring to see how much artistry goes into the actual painting of these miniatures. That's not me. That's not my thing. Instead, I was looking for a solution that would allow me to create a uniform look for as many of them as possible that I could then capture on camera really easily and provide something high contrast so that on the bits of terrain that I've painted, you can see the miniatures. With the Zenithal method, again, starts out with a black undercoat and then a gray middle coat, and then a white top coat. The black is applied universally, then the gray is applied at a 45-degree angle, and then the white is applied from the top, and it creates the illusion of the sun being directly overhead. I'm doing this with airbrushing. I've painted all the miniatures black. Now it's time to paint all of them with the gray. What you can't see as I'm doing this is that there's a lot of paint sort of floating like a cloud all in the room. I've got multiple filters going, I've got multiple fans, and I'm sucking up the fumes, but I'm wearing a respirator because this is a lot of painting. It is really satisfying to see the details start to immediately pop out whenever the gray coat is applied. You get to really see how much work was put into these sculptures. They may be small, but there's a lot of detail in there. And it's great to see things that I owned for several years. I didn't actually know what they looked like. That sounds so weird, but then you hold it and you don't really think about it. All the detail that you're missing, you don't know what you don't know. And just looking at the ones as the gray coat is applied, you start to see so much detail. It's really cool. So if we're using the rough round calculation of 850 miniatures, after I've now painted 850 twice, I've done 1,700 paint jobs. There are a few touch-ups here and there. Occasionally the airbrush, which I was getting used to, would blast out way too much paint. This is before I knew about the importance of an airbrush thinner, a good one. I started to finally get into a rhythm with it after going through all the gray, and I'm really happy with this trigger style airbrush. When I was looking for airbrushes, it was pretty overwhelming. There's a lot of cheap stuff on a lot of online marketplaces, and then there's some really expensive stuff. This one doesn't seem to be too popular. I love it because having the trigger style that sort of just fits in the palm of your hand makes it so much easier to paint for an hour or two at a time. Having to push down on a trigger that's on top just would make my hand ache so badly. It's more difficult to deep clean because you gotta basically disassemble a big valve stem in order to get everything apart. But I have to say, it's so comfortable. My hand would never cramp. I would never really get sore. The only thing that would get sore is actually like my shoulder from just being in a fixed position for so long. Back in New York, one of the really fun solaces during the pandemic was riding bikes. And Danielle and I used to ride our bikes all around Brooklyn. We would ride them down as far away as Rockaway and absolutely loved being able to do that. So when we moved out to LA, we wanted to get them out here, and unfortunately, they wouldn't fit into the moving container. And we didn't find this out until a couch that we really didn't want was buried so deeply in the container, there was no way we were getting it out without everyone going into overtime. So we decided to ship the bikes, but to do that, I didn't even know you could ship bikes, firstly, and then I found out there's an entire industry around doing that. We had to get the bikes disassembled, which has a cost, and then we had to have the bikes shipped, which has a cost. Then the bikes had to get reassembled because, as DIY handy as I may be, I have no idea how the inner mechanics of a bike work. It's essentially like looking at alien technology for me. It's marvelous, but I don't understand it yet. Someone else had to do it out here for us. And all in all, we essentially spent as much as one brand new bicycle to get both bikes out here. Now that we have them, it's really great because we can take the bikes down to Long Beach. The Pride LGBTQ+ tower that Danielle was pointing at there actually was burned down by suspected arsonist a few weeks ago, which is absolutely disgusting and awful. The city's promised they're going to build a new one, which is great. We also spent some time riding down in Orange County. And it's just beautiful countryside. Very exciting, we have new merchandise up on our website. That's right, you can get the new Color Wild sweatshirt and the new battle shirts. We're having a little bit of trouble figuring out the Printful thing. If anyone here has any experience with Printful, let us know. We're getting our prices wrong. Our first transaction didn't exactly go well. It's a really nice shirt, Danielle.
Thanks, I'm just sitting here in my super comfy shirt. Just, oh my gosh, we have an order on DisQuarter that came through for another shirt. Someone liked this one so much they're buying it. And it looks like we made a profit of -9 cents from the shirt. So thank you to our DisQuarter fan who just bought a shirt from us. We paid 9 cents for you to have it. So we're working on our e-commerce acumen, if you will. Oh, the said fan is calling. Hello?
Yeah, leave a comment down below if you have experience with Printful on a website. And also, we have a Patreon. If you love all things DisQuarter and want to help support us, Patreon's the best place to do it. With any of the tiers that we have available, you get access to a private section on our Discord server, known as DisQuarter. And there you can play Valheim with us. Been having an enormous amount of fun in Valheim lately. It's a game about Vikings in the Norse afterlife. The most recent expeditions had me gathering a bunch of iron, and if you played Valheim, you know how exceedingly difficult that is, and traveling across the ocean in a giant longship. This is like grade A entertainment for me. And another way to support the channel is to tell your friends. Right now with this video, which is number 2, we have 122 subscribers. But if you're a fan of this channel and share it with others, then hopefully that will grow, just like in this giant amorphous graphic showing the interconnectedness of people. Imagine if all these people subscribed to DisQuarter. That would be a bunch. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next week.